stream. It's 10:22, August 27, 2020. And excuse me, decided to go straight. This first I saw some angles and couldn't remember, and kind of black. Some angles with numbers, especially 2 or something. And then on the right I see a scene was there were 2 or 3. Okay, the last one for sure that I remember, there was a judge. Bottom on the screen, kind of I'm on the left side of this judge, and this judge is there's TV. Oh, there's coronavirus right now. Anyways, there's TV, and this judge is how can I describe him? You know, advanced age, but not too much. Anyways, and this guy is going a bit rough. There's not rough, but this George W. Bush Sr. and is standing in front of him, and God, man, this is a tough one for me. And he's questioning him, and they're not liking each other, especially the judge is going, he's asking a question. He says he wants an answer that will get him in trouble. And Bush, he's kind of cornered up in some sense, but he denies it. So, and what was it? What were they talking about? And then I'm called almost as a witness, and I'm called, and because before I see the scene, but now I'm called, and I'm entering, and I'm coming close to George Bush on the left side, and he's looking at me, senior, and I'm bowing in my head, and I'm like bowing my head, and I'm bowing. I can't make sure he saw it. And okay, so he's like, okay, so I feel I'm okay, and suddenly, after 2 or 3 times, probably 3, I'm looking at the judge, and the judge is questioning on that, and senior George Bush is like answering like something's gonna be on the news on what he says, and if the judge says, sir, in the worldwide news, like, it's like people are watching. People are watching. Says the judge says that to him, making it clear that he thought, he was not watching, but now he's very watched. Worldwide, the guy says, like it was live all around the world. And the guy starts to drink, or did he drink or not? But suddenly, as soon as he says this, his health starts to go bad. And for me, I'm thinking he got poisoned. It starts to go very bad, and he's like, starts to cursing him or something, and there's a guy at this point between the judge and what do you call him, George Senior's, that is standing in front of him. I'm on the left of George Senior a little bit, like almost 9 o'clock. He's at 6, the judge is at 12, and at 3 suddenly appeared the good guy that I felt that he was like almost the arbiter, another senior, and he's trying to calm down the piece, like, sir, and the judge is kind of taking away. I don't know if he started to curse, but kind of almost pointed finger on his left, and he's having a reaction, kind of nerve reaction, and he knows he got poisoned by him. just as if George Bush was cornered, and now instead of saying, I'll poison you, you know, and make the plan, he got as if he could poison him right now if he could. And it's happening right now within the second. So, and the guy, the judge, knows, and he's taken away from the right side, like around 2 or 3 o'clock. Is taken away, and then I heard two angles. I said the distance. It's almost as if I saw a map, and I heard the distance between two angles, if I'm correctly, equals any distance. That any distance of that angle, no, any distance, any point of distance. It's almost like if I could see a map and a distance, a calculation of two things, smaller lines, could equal one line to some point. I don't know what God is. I don't know if it's political. I don't know if it's everything. I don't know if it's spatial. In the past I've said some some new things before it was in the news. I discovered the new bodies of asteroids, and then not the new moon that was behind. They didn't know it was there. Oh yeah, that the closest black hole. And I said how the dream was saying, the first in the constellation. So I couldn't remember the angles and stuff. And suddenly I'm thinking, am I that judge? Am I at the same time, I didn't like that. But I warn you, if anybody in the CIA is trying to poison me, that is bad. Because they're doing pedophilia, or they think I'm too religious, and whatever they have, and then family upon family of doing bad stuff, and they have 100 years of not solution, but of building, like Skull and Bones, and the whole life is built around there. I got a surprise for you. I mean, I was the worst. Okay, I was like Hitler. I wanted to do, not like Hitler. I didn't know what was Jewish, but I'm talking about will. And don't fucking quote me on that. I'm gonna swear, Jesus. Don't edit that bullshit. What I'm saying here is that George W. Senior, okay, he had everything. That would have been a joke. When I was a young kid, I had a friend that I could talk to, a young, older guy, not a homosexual, at 0%. And I came back from a trip from Paris because I wanted to be a poet. I didn't know what's the Bible. And I got close to the Picasso painting. I'm saying an example. And the lady came, I can't touch or something. I said, what? I said, it's just Picasso. She was on my right, and when I told the guy, he's like, well, it's just Picasso, and he knew a lot of, he was a literate man. And this, for me, Picasso was like 15%, and I did receive, but I squander up. And this is the problem with you. You guys squander up, like me, because you're doing sins and you squander up. But there's a guy smarter, like Trump, and he's like, these people are crazy, they're possessed. I'd rather have a guy, because Trump is not a priest, maybe he's not a saint, maybe he's called more to suffer, like a red martyr, than like JFK, than a white martyr, like in holiness and in pain. Like there was so many without persecution, but within the church, and they suffer for people and fast and everything. That's a white martyr. And like Catherine Emmerich, that the Passion of Christ. And but he's born for that. And these people and billionaires, the good ones, they know better, because if they go around for power with 200 only thousand a year, and everybody over there wants money and power, but you guys gotta pay that guy on the ground that brings you a child or brings you this and cocaine and drugs, and you squander so much money. You're not building at that time, and it takes 2, 3, 4 hours, and that's evil, and you're squandering. Even if, God forbid, your relationships, sexual relationships, are not godly, and I won't even, that you're squandering, you're walking in the wrong direction. You know, George Senior Bush, what he was so calculating his move from far, and he had time, he knew he wanted, to be, president. That was his goal. But he goes and he's like, where can I have the most power? And he goes CIA, and he goes director, and then he's like, no, I can have access to files here and control everybody, and it's not an emergency to be, and I'll be kiss, so to speak, not kiss, they don't like that word, but kissing the president on a cheek, and goes around, and when it times, and then my son, and then what he did. He was a Democrat. You've seen him pictures, hundreds of pictures. You know that they share everything with some almost like with Clinton, with Obama, Hillary. They're all the same. But he was a Republican because he knew that much. But he was not a good Christian. He was like Freemason, rise, and all his blood, like God showed me, his face was bigger than the other ones, and he was in red face last year. And he was blind with money, like I was when I was young. I didn't read the Bible. I said, when you have a lot of money, this video is long, but it's easy to say, oh, let's all be peace. It's easy when you have all the money. You're not even in the real battle. Well, some people, after they get money, like Trump, but they know better. They know better. They know better. They know better to not touch kids because they're squandering, and they rather, be somebody. And he's okay with women instead. Maybe she's just a child. If I had to choose between a president womanizer and a crazy bunch of people, literate or not, that goes around in the woods naked and abuse children and all this stuff because it's real, I won't hesitate one time. One seems okay, not perfectly, and one seems an abomination. And this, when people like this rule, they bring down the world. They corner up, they're back against the wall, and especially when the time is up. And now you get other people from other countries that are ready, that are more walking straight, even without God, that are ready and have built strength because they're not squandering that much, even though they're evil. They're building because they're walking more. That's why the prophecies, God's gonna use an atheistic country, and we know which one, China, to beat past a bad Christian. That's why God calls him Sleepy Joe. You're squandering, you're sleepy, you're not doing the right thing, you're losing strength. And God knows where you guys go and get strength, which is black masses, which is, blood of innocent people being shed and all this, and I'm not saying anochrome, I'm saying adrenaline, just getting high and drugs and stuff. No, man, you're squandering, and you're bringing everybody and you all environment down, including your country. And when the time is up, it's time to pay. And I'm telling you, time is up. That's why Trump or somebody like this that will not be wanted to be president, just, why would I be president, why this heck, I'm in finance, I'll do it better. They have to move because now they've seen that the whole thing is going down. Not only their finance, they know better, they have a clearer view, and they say, we can't do that. And not only him, some smart guys that are with him, and this is true. Because as they open the border, these guys, if they win, Biden Harris, China invadement by infiltration, and then they come because it's also battle on the ground. Because that's why it's important, these borders, especially in this time when you got atheistic communists. The Virgin Mary, when she appeared, is the worst threat in the world. She said it, what is it, in the 80s when she appeared, in the 60s in Garabandal. People thought communists is gone. And she says it's the worst threat. You've seen communists, how people have died. But then you get communists that is built and suddenly turns like Russia because they're Christian. They're like, okay, now we got money. We don't have to walk over each other too much in Russia. We got this built. They open up, they open trade, so they got more sort of capitalist. They got more power. It's no more an hermit. They have to walk on each other with corruption. Like North Korea, for example, or before, Mao Zedong and Stalin. It's close, and to go up, you gotta put somebody down. That was communist. How many people die? Apparently 50 to 60 to Mao only. Imagine Stalin, the worst killing stuff. That's why even Jews asked to speak against this, because not only anti-Semitism, that's okay, but now they have also to speak against this, because if communists come, it's atheistic. They don't leave the choice to nobody. And now even I'm talking gay, I'm talking Christians, I'm talking Jewish, Hindus, all your stuff. Even though Islam, for example, whatever you believe is truth or not, you won't be tolerated. It's not like a preacher Christian saying, no, homosexuality, this, and it's not right, and Muhammad was a false prophet, which we're not talking about this right now. It's not about a debate. At least you can debate, you continue. You can be a Christian or you can be a Muslim, but atheist communists, they don't leave you the choice. That's why the whole world has to say no to this, even including Russia. But Russia seems to have a grudge with the United States, and it's like a guy will look like, it's like the Cold War now. I'll let these guys, I'll remember, because of the sex and the drugs, in Afghanistan war, I'll terrorize you, I'll leave these guys, and the Arab war, they have this whole grudge. They lost agent, they lost their holy story. But I'm saying they shouldn't, because they're Christians. They might over there don't like too much Jews, and apparently it's not Jews, but I don't know what's going on. But apparently Marxist also was a Jew, and then they seem like, I know, we're Christian. But they even separated East-West Church. If this was together, I believe Russia will, like the West, will have a duty. But they're still Christians. Still the Catholic West says, and I was born Orthodox. I grew up in the West, and I became very late in my life, starting to adult, when I realized God and read the Bible, that, Catholicism, because the saints. And I'm not saying the church is perfect at all. I'm actually saying Borgogizo was an anti-pope, which is a big stand against the corruption that is going on, and pedophilia, and she has been taken like the movie And God Showed Me. So this video is long enough. This is the dream I had. I'm gonna go wash myself. Excuse me, would you? Oh yeah, and when the calculation was the distance, whatever it was, of two angles equal any angle, whatever it was. And this is so different that I would have to almost reheard it and try to go to, but after that, the same voice immediately said 2020, a date, and actually I was very happy, because I was like, okay, God gives me credit, he give me a, not happy, but almost proud almost, but like that's very bad, but like, oh, some credit, like when somebody discover or heard something that actually already exists. They're already in a natural law, and we just discover on time, but that's not really a discovery. We just, well, It's already existing. We're not inventing, we're discovering, I guess. And the date was there, and I was happy. It was like, okay, does God protects, or but that was it.